Hello and welcome to our new grammar lesson, Principal Parts of Irregular Verbs. This looks like the second part of last week's lesson, which was the principal parts of irregular verbs. So the difference is gonna be only in the conjugation of the verbs. So by the end of this lesson, you should be able to. So the first thing is for us to remember what the difference between regular and irregular verbs. Usually you add ed to a verb to form the past and past participle. Like these verbs: love, loved. Here this is the S form. Loved, we drop the E and add ed. Loving, drop the E and add ing, and then the past participle is also loved. These are the regular verbs. So what are these verbs? These are irregular verbs. So what do? We change the spelling of the verb. Drink, drank. We change the I here into an A. Or the past participle, we change the I into a U in the past participle form, have had form. So let's look at some irregular verbs because they do not follow any rule. They do not follow the rule of adding ed. We have here, you have to memorize as many as irregular verbs as you can. Find the found. Of course, the last one here, the after has, have, had, or the past participle is found. Fit, the same. Fly, flew, flown. Forget, forgot, forgotten. Get, gotten. Give, gave, given. Okay, the past participle here is not mentioned in this table, but there are other tables in the other slides with the third conjugation. And instead of having ed forms, irregular verbs usually change to other words. So, like what? Take, took, taken. Ride, rode, as after has, have, had, also ridden. Okay, this is written here. Okay, present perfect. This is the participle part. Also after has, have, had. Drink, drank, drunk. Swim, swam, swum. Throw, threw, thrown. See, saw, seen. You have to memorize all these verbs. Go, went, gone. And make, made, made. Get, got, gotten should be. Or get, got. Okay, so this is the example in your in the rule in your book. The present participle, the past, and past participle. This is the same as we took last week, only the verb or the type of the verb has changed. Like for example, instead of adding ed to the verb, we change the spelling of the verb. So here, write or writes in the present according to the subject. Am is are in the present participle. Am is are, and then writing. We dropped the e and added ing. And in the past, it's wrote, a different one. And in the past participle, has, have, had, written. And these are the examples from the book. Benny writes in the present tense. Benny writes with s a pop song. In the present participle, he is, this is the helping verb, and then the verb with ing. He is writing a pop song. The past tense, Benny wrote several pop songs, and the past participle, he has written pop songs for several years. So you have to memorize these verbs. This is the table from your book. Okay, and of course all other verbs that you could have seen in your reading textbook. You should know them all. So the first column here, present tense, and then the present participle as is, are, and the verb and ing, and then past tense, and then the past participle after has, have, had. Okay, so begin, is, are, beginning, and past tense began, has, have, had, begun. Look here, the U, and here the A and began in the past, and here you have to notice that the N is doubled, okay, before adding ing. Bring, bringing, is, are, bringing, and brought, and has, have, had, brought. Buy, is, are, buying, past tense bought, and has, have, had, bought. Come, is, are, coming, here dropped the E and added ing, and past tense came, has, have, had, come. Feel, is, are, feeling, past tense felt, has, have, had, felt. Grow, is, are, growing, grew, has, have, had, grown. Keep, is, are, keeping, and so on. So let's look at the exercises. These are the exercises from your book. This is the first page in this lesson. Write present, present participle, past or past participle to identify the principal part used to form the underlined verb. So the verb is underlined. So look at it and then think what it is. If it is past, we write past. If it is present with S or with no S, we write present. If it is one of the participles, present participle, is, are with the verb and ing, we write present participle. If it is has, have, had, and then the verb in the last column, we write the past participle. So the first one, Marianne began music school at 18. So began, this is the second in the past, so we write past. Her family had come. So of course you have here a verb phrase with a helping verb and a verb in the third form. So had come to Europe for her concert. Had come is in the past participle. Number 3, Joe is beginning. This is very obvious. Is in the present, and this one present participle. So he's Joe is beginning his singing career in the present participle. And number 4, Jenny keeps a glass of water nearby. Keeps, the verb with S is in the present. Of course, you remember that the subject-verb agreement, we look at the subject. If it is singular, we write S above it, and then we add this S to the verb. Of course, this is the way that we can remember the rule, but it's not the rule. The rule is, if the subject is singular, the verb is also singular. If the subject is plural, we don't add S to the verb. If the subject is singular, we add S to the verb. If the subject is plural or I, we don't add S to the verb. Okay, so this is the second question. Underline the form of the verb in parentheses that correctly completes each sentence. Dana, field or felt? Is there something called a field? Yeah, don't add ed, so it's felt. Tom had written or writed. There is nothing called write. It is totally wrong. And so it's had written. Charlie bought or bought. Oh, it's a regular verb. And Kathy has began or begun. Of course, you could say has is why has is wrong. Has began, because it's not has began. It must be has begun with a U. Okay, so it's began. So please, if you find any difficulties or you have any questions, post them in the discussion room or send to me in the email and inform me in the discussion room tomorrow. Thank you so much and see you.